What a special treat for the viewers of Queensland League Scene. The Schnackarima, Jayden Nikorima. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. The current Brisbane Tigers and Melbourne Storm 5-8. How's life down there in Melbourne, but then, of course, over there at Morningside?
Mate, I tell you what, it's been a bit of a shock. Obviously, it's my first year back in an NRL system, so to do it with the Storm, the first couple of weeks in preseason, I sort of got found out. But I'm enjoying my time here. They got a good connection with their affiliates, being the East Tigers and the Sunshine Coast Falcons, and lucky enough to be affiliated to the Tigers. And we got off to a good start, but we're currently coming off the back of 2 losses. So hopefully we can, turn the table around this weekend.
Well, listen, mate, I asked the questions around here, all right? So, I was going to get to the 2 losses, but can you just give me a chance to warm into it?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Is that all right? It's cool. But for now, I'll lead the dance, hey?
Yeah, I'll leave it up to you, mate.
All right, thank you. Cheers, appreciate that. So, mate, flying high start to the season. And then, of course, the last 2 weeks, you've had a bit of a turn and lost 2 on the trot. What's going on in the Brisbane Tigers camp, mate? Is there anything in particular happening, or you're flying high, looking like one of the best in the comp, and then you drop 2?
Yeah, we always knew it was going to be like a bit of a shaky start with sort of some of the East boys that are living in Melbourne coming down to join the Tigers boys, and we've only had 1 or 2 training sessions together as a team, being the captain's run 2, which is pretty light. So not using them as an excuse. I think just the last couple of weeks we just haven't executed properly, and you can put it down to combinations, you can put it down to fatigue. I think the game on the weekend, was one of the most high level games I've been involved in. It was sort of back and forth, and I can't remember having a break too often, especially in that second half. So I guess that's footy, and if we want to be there come October, then we're going to have to ice them games too. But I was telling the boys after the game, they're the kind of games you're playing during the year, because if you're not playing them sort of footy, then it's sort of not going to prepare you for them games come September, October. So a lot of lessons to come out of that. But we've got heaps to work on, especially with that D.
Yeah, we had a look at your D last week on Queensland League Scene, and just noticed that once you got some back-to-back sets, you sort of broke the dam, I guess, and it was a bit hard for you guys to defend your line. I get that comes from that incohesion and not having many sessions together, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess a bit of that, and I guess for us, I don't want to give too many secrets away, but we got a pretty big forward pack too, not as mobile as other teams too. So I guess if teams do sort of get in that grind with us, they might be able to win it there. But hopefully, off the back of mine and Desi's kicking game or improved kicking game, we can sort of help our middles out a bit, because we've been pretty rubbish the last 6 weeks. Last 2 weeks in particular.
Well, mate, it's not all doom and gloom over there at Langlands. It's going pretty good. I mean, you had an undefeated run start to the season before these 2 games. So it's not all that bad. Now, you do have, as you mentioned, a large forward pack. The return of George Fye has been a big story this season, of course, with your side. And how's he combining with Wesley Lolo? I know Wes has a background playing on the edge, but he's shifted into the front row permanently, and he's looking to treat too. So how good is it playing off the back of those 2 blokes?
Yeah, it's unreal. Their leg speed is just second. And I think if you watch the game on the weekend, George actually chased down one of the Sunny Coast wingers. So he might actually get a start in the centres with old Billy being out, I think. So, it's unreal. They create a lot of momentum in the ruck for us. And then it's good to play off the back of them, especially being a running half too. So.
Yeah, you mentioned George Fye chasing down a winger. He must have some pretty good speed off the mark. I'll try to rack my brain and think of another front rower that was just the quickest in his club in over 20. I'll think Oh, it was me. Sorry. That's all right. Sorry. Don't. Oh, we'll move on. We'll move on. So you mentioned Darren Nichols, Desi. He's got that permanent connection there at the Brisbane Tigers. He's a really experienced half, has that NRL experience under his belt. How good's he been for that combination? How much easier does it make your job as a running 5'8" once you come in and you know you've got a conductor like Desi already in the side, already ready to go?
Yeah, it's good for sort of both parties too. Obviously, the boys that have done the preseason at East, they're familiar with Desi's voice. And then for me, he just organises, and then I just have to organise either my left or right edge, and then just think run first. So it's been unreal. I was at Bronx with Desi actually for a year and a bit too, and we played in the Gades against the NRL team. So it's good to be back in his company. He's a bit of a legend, not just at East, but sort of around the Queensland Rugby League community too. So, it's been good. But I've upgraded from Cameron Cullen, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, speaking of Cameron Cullen, Darren Nichols, a couple of blokes who just have not ever gotten dirty playing football. They just play in a dinner suit and,
Playing a dinner suit, eh?
If they have raffled their jerseys off after a game, you'd have to pay an extra $1,000 more because there's just not a grass stain on it. It's pristine condition. But they've made about 4 tackles between them. But anyway, we'll
teachers' pets.
Oh, 100%. And that Darren and Cameron both have those traits for sure. Teachers' pets, absolutely. Both of them teachers' pets to Moggy, actually. Anyway, we're going down a rabbit hole here. So, mate, Jayden, we've talked about football. Obviously you're trying to get that gig in with Melbourne. It's inching closer and closer to your NRL dream coming back. I know you do a lot on the side as well. You have a very vested interest in kids' development, youth development. Talk to us through that and how's that tracking along at the moment?
Yeah, during COVID, we started a thing called Bro Camp. And it sort of runs on the back of a camp that Glenn Azar ran to sort of help me, guide me onto the right path. So we sort of mirrored that and we started targeting sort of the ages between 11 to 17-year-olds. I guess that's sort of when you start to mature. You're sort of in and around high school, that crowd too, when you start to develop different changes in your life, or the most changes in your life too. So being in Melbourne, I've sort of stepped back from that. But over the last week, I've started to reach out to a few sort of youth programs here in Melbourne. And then I wanted to associate myself with the autism school as well, being as Glenn's son, Christian, he has autism, and it sort of reminds me a bit of home as well. So I went and visited a school there just to see what sort of stuff I can do to help them out. So we've got a few things in the works that we're going to start doing to have an alignment with the Storm as well. So, I've got a few projects. I'm passionate about helping our youth and trying to provide them hope, but also, trying to get into helping with like disability support work, and then autism, because it's pretty close to home for me.
Yeah, well, Jayden, it's been a pleasure playing and training and being around you during that whole transitional period, and to see where you're at now, it's a credit to yourself, mate. You've put in a lot of hard work, and you deserve all the accolades, and you're certainly keeping yourself true and going to those schools and doing the right thing by all the people in that community. So thank you for your time, Jayden. We appreciate it. Big supporter of you here on Queensland League Scene. Good luck for the Tigers this week. And if that Storm debut happens to pop up, go hard.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it, TB.